Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, a big welcome to you. Today I have another easy, delicious fall time pumpkin spice recipe for you. Today we're going to learn how to make a very easy keto pumpkin spice cheesecake. And I'm going to teach you how to make a very quick, very easy keto caramel sauce that goes great with this pumpkin spice cheesecake. But you don't have to just limit that caramel sauce to this cheesecake. You can use it anytime you want caramel sauce. It goes great over ice cream, over pies, over cakes, over other cheesecakes besides just this one. Anytime you want caramel sauce, this caramel sauce is perfect for your caramel sauce desire. And if you want printable versions of these, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find printable versions of these and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, quick keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out a new video. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some Amazon affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those Amazon affiliate links, a small portion will go to me, which will help to support the channel. Even if you don't want the item that it routes you to, you just type in whatever you want in that Amazon search bar. And as long as you're using my affiliate link, a small portion will go to me, which will help to support the channel. And while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Lightly spray a 9-inch pie pan with cooking spray. Make sure you just lightly spray it. It's just enough so the crust doesn't stick. In the pie pan, combine 1 3/4 cup of almond meal or almond flour. I usually lean towards almond meal when I'm making this because I think it gives the crust a nice texture to it. But if you only have almond flour works just fine also. So almond meal or almond flour works. Add 1/3 cup of brown swerve or brown sugar sweetener of your choice. 1/8 teaspoon of salt. A 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. And a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Use a fork and stir these all together until they're fully combined. Now, brown swerve can be a little bit sticky, so if you need to, you can get your fingers in there and press out any big lumps that might be in the brown swerve, because you do want to make sure that everything is fully combined and that the seasonings are evenly distributed throughout the mixture. Add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla or maple extract. And 1 1/4 cups of butter that's been melted and cooled. Make sure it is cooled. Again, use your fork and stir these all together until they're fully combined and all the dry ingredients are moistened. Again, if you need to, use your fingers and really make sure that every last piece of the dry ingredients are moistened. You want to make sure everything has moisture to it so that the crust will stick together. Once the dry ingredients are all moist, then use your fingers or the back of a fork or the back of a measuring cup and press the crust evenly into the bottom and slightly up the sides of your pie pan. Make sure you press it evenly across the bottom of your pie pan. You don't want one side to have a thick crust and another side to not have hardly any crust. So make sure you do press it evenly and press it firmly because you don't want it to fall apart on you as soon as you cut your cheesecake. Once the crust is all pressed into place, then place it in your refrigerator until we're ready to use it. In a large mixer bowl, place 16 ounces of room temperature softened cream cheese. Make sure it is room temperature and make sure it is softened. You don't want it melted, but you do want it to be softened. Beat on medium for about 30 seconds or until the cream cheese is fluffy. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push all the cream cheese to the center of the bowl. Add a 1/2 cup of granulated swerve or granulated sweetener of your choice, and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla or maple extract. Beat these together again on medium for another 30 seconds. or until everything is fully combined. Once again, scrape down the sides of the bowl and push everything to the center of the bowl. Add 2 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature, that way they will mix in a lot easier. 2/3 cup of pumpkin puree. If you don't make your own pumpkin puree, make sure you read the labels and make sure that all that is in there is pumpkin. No added spices, added sugars, or anything else. Make sure you read your labels. Add a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, and a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. Beat these all together on medium for another 30 seconds or until everything is fully combined and smooth. Make sure it is smooth. And one more time, scrape down the sides of your bowl and push everything once again to the center of your bowl. Remove the crust from the refrigerator and spread the cheesecake mixture evenly into the crust. Make sure it is even and make sure the top is smooth. Once it's nice and smooth, place it in your preheated oven and bake at 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes or until the center of the cheesecake is set, no longer wet, and it's slightly browned around the edges. Mine took 40 minutes exactly. Everybody's oven is different, so make sure you check it at the 35-minute mark just to make sure that it doesn't burn. So what we're looking for is the center to no longer to be wet or jiggly, and around the edges, you should have a little bit of brown around the edges. Once it's done baking, remove it from the oven. And if you want to, you can sprinkle the top of it with a little bit of cinnamon sugar. I like to do this for a little bit of an extra taste. You don't have to do this. If you do choose to do this, all it is 1 tablespoon of brown swerve and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And I just mix those up with a fork and then sprinkle it on top of the cheesecake as soon as it comes out of the oven. But again, it's up to you whether you want to do that or not. Either way, once it's removed from the oven, allow it to cool at room temperature for about 45 minutes to an hour or until it is mostly cooled. It's okay if there is a little bit of warmth to it, but you do not want it to be hot. So warm is okay, hot is not. So around 45 minutes to an hour, let it sit, cool down a bit. Then place it in your refrigerator and let it chill for at least 3 hours or until it is completely cold. You don't want any warmth at all in this when you choose to serve it. You want it to be nice and cold. So it's actually best to chill it overnight, but if you're in a hurry to eat it, at least 3 hours to chill it. Once it's chilled, cut your desired slice. If you want to, you can top it with some keto whipped cream or some more of the cinnamon sugar mixture. I'll put a link in the description to my quick keto whipped cream if you want to use that. But what I like to do is just drizzle the top of it with my keto caramel sauce, which I will show you how to make that here shortly. Either way, however you choose to eat it, just eat and enjoy. For the caramel sauce, in a medium saucepan, combine 6 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of brown swerve or brown sugar sweetener of your choice, and 3 tablespoons of granulated swerve or granulated sweetener of your choice. Stir these together over medium heat until the butter completely melts. Now I like to cut the butter into small cubes, that way it melts quicker. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I like to do it because I get impatient. I want my butter to melt fast. So I cut mine into little cubes. Either way, make sure you keep stirring it until the butter is melted completely. Once it's melted, bring the mixture to a low boil over medium heat. Once you start seeing some bubbles forming in it and it's at a low boil, give it a little gentle stir. Then leave it and let it simmer for about 3 minutes or until it darkens slightly and it starts to resemble a caramel sauce. You'll start to smell it. It'll start to smell like a caramel sauce, and it'll start getting just a little bit of a thickness. It'll thicken more as we continue to add the rest of the ingredients, but it'll start resembling the caramel sauce. The main thing you can tell is you'll be able to smell it. It'll start smelling like caramel sauce. Just be careful, you do not want to burn it. So don't let it simmer for too long. No more than 5 minutes at max. Mine was 3 minutes and it was perfect. Once it's simmered a bit and you got that nice caramel smell going on, remove it from the heat and very carefully add in 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of the milk of your choice. Be careful because this does bubble up a little bit, so slowly and carefully add the milk. Once it's added, give a little bit of a stir just to make sure the milk is combined into all the ingredients. Then gradually sprinkle in 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Make sure you're whisking as you add it and only add it a little bit at a time. You do not want your xanthan gum to bunch up on you, so make sure you just sprinkle it in very small amounts, then whisk it and make sure it's combined. And again, add a little bit more, whisk it, make sure it's combined until you've added the entire 1/4 of a teaspoon. But again, just little at a time. Once it is fully added, whisk it vigorously for about 20 seconds just to make sure that the xanthan gum is fully combined and that everything is smooth. You do not want chunks of xanthan gum in your caramel sauce. That'll really throw off the texture. Once your xanthan gum is all whisked in, then add 1/4 teaspoon of salt and whisk it in until the salt is combined. Then return the pan back to the stove and bring it back to a low boil over medium heat once again, just until you start seeing a little bit of bubbles. You don't want to boil it too much. As soon as you start seeing a little bit of bubbles going on, simmer it over medium heat for about 1 minute or until everything is completely dissolved and you have a very smooth caramel sauce. Make sure that everything is fully dissolved. Remove it once again from the heat and allow it to cool in the pan for about 10 minutes or just until it's warm. Then add 2 tablespoons of room temperature water and whisk it in until it's fully combined and smooth. You should have a really nice creamy smooth sauce. Once it's cooled completely, store it in the refrigerator in an airtight container for up to 1 week. If this does thicken after it's been refrigerated, all you need to do is pop it back into the microwave for about 10-15 seconds or until it's pourable once again. So you can use this sauce in any recipe that calls for caramel sauce, and I, of course, like it over my pumpkin cheesecake. Eat and enjoy. And those are our recipes of the day. I hope you enjoyed them both. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.